This video is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com and GatheringMagic.com, your place to explore the game.
Hi, my name's Sam, and this is my Marath Will of the Wild EDH deck.
Alright guys, so this is the main portion of the deck, obviously. And the theme of my deck is combo slash tokens. It likes to combo out and it likes to go wide. And it's pretty resilient. So first off, we're going to start with our land package. We're running 37 lands, and we're going to be running 4 basic mountains. And then we're going to be running about 5 basic plains. And then we're going to run about 6 basic forests. Then we'll go right into the non-basic lands. We're going to run all 3 of the temples. All 3 of the check lands. All 3 of the fetches. Both the have lands to fetch. All 3 of the shock lands to fetch as well. And all 3 of the dual lands as well, original. Then we'll go into like the utility lands, obviously Command Tower, Cavern of Souls. Usually I name elements with this deck, just so Marath doesn't get countered, because Marath is a huge part of the deck, and I also have a couple elementals that are also in the deck. Kessig Wolf Run, just for in those long grindy games where I can just swing in with a creature and just trample over. Really helps out. Windbrisk Heights, I think it's one of the easiest hideaway lands, but I would replace this with the Gaia's Cradle, if you can afford it. Temple of the False God, just for ramp. Next we'll get into our artifacts. Soul Ring, obviously. Sensei's Defining Top, look at the top 3. Helps out, and where I don't have blue in the deck. Ashnod's Altar is a combo piece. Lets me sack and net 2 mana, so it also helps you ramp as well, even if I don't have the combo pieces out. Skull Clamp, obviously it synergizes really well with Marath, as in I put in 1/1 token out, then I clamp it, draw 2 cards. It's just a really good draw engine in the deck, probably one of the best draw spells I have. Next we'll get into the sorceries. For ramp, I got Cultivate, Kodama's Reach, Skyshroud Claim. Lets me search for 2 forests, put them into play, so I can get fetches, duels, and halves. Shamanic Revelation lets me draw cards for the amount of creatures I have, and then I gain 4 life for each creature I control with power 4 or greater, but I'm more interested in the draw. Harmonize, more draw, can never have enough draw. Increasing Devotion. This is in here because it puts out a lot of tokens, and it can do a lot of damage too if I have the right cards out. Martial Coup is the only board wipe I really have in this deck. Most of the time people are going to be board wiping because of me, so I found that this is the best board wipe to have when I do need a board wipe. tooth and nail. Tutors up combos or can save me if some of my combo pieces are exiled. It's just really good to go look for your deck and get 2 creatures. Yeah. Chord of Calling, tutoring at instant speed into the battlefield at that. Eldrami's Call, really cheap CMC, lets me get any creature I want in my hand. Enlightened Tutor, get that enchantment and artifact, and there is a sub-enchantment theme in the deck, so this helps a lot. Path to Exile for removal, along with Swords of Plowshares. White Sun Zenith, just to pump out more tokens at instant speed. Beast Within, more removal. Krosan Grip, just really good removal for enchantments and artifacts, especially when somebody has a Oblivion Stone out. Boros Charm, just to help against board wipes, because people are going to board wipe you a lot in this deck, and it sucks when you got to start from 0 sometimes. Next up we have enchantments. I'm running the Earthcraft Squirrel Nest combo. Next up is Cathars Crusade. This is really, really good with Marath because he puts out a token and then he gets a +1/+1 counter. So he never goes down in counters and he always stays up on his life. And you can just make a ton of tokens with this card out. It's really good. Along with that, we have Impact Trimmers, that whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, Impact Trimmers deals 1 damage to each opponent. Keyword, each opponent. I like that. So I can just chip away at everybody's life for each token that I put in play. So that's really good. Sylvan Library for the draw, and look at the top 3. Doubling season, obviously I want to double my tokens and I want to double my +1/+1 counters, so this card is a must in the deck. It helps out a ton. Mirari's Wake, doubling my mana and giving my tokens a little bit more beef. There's nothing wrong with that. Parallel Lives is always awesome. Just doubling my tokens. Sterling Grove, like I said, I have a lot of enchantments that people will want to blow up, and this allows me to protect them and also tutor for an enchantment spell. It's really, really good. I like it a lot. Goblin Bombardment, sack outlet, and so many board wipes, and I don't have any responses, but if Goblin Bombardment's out, I can sack all of them instead and punish the person that decided to get rid of my board. Ore Shards is also all-star in this deck because some of the artifacts people play are pretty mean, and being able to pump out tokens at instant speed with Marath can really put a damper on their gameplay and board state. Hardened Scales allows you to pump up Marath quite a bit early game. It's a really good 1-drop to have. I'm never upset when this card's out. Beastmaster's Ascension, really easy to trigger off, makes my tokens huge, and can potentially just end the game really fast. Next up we have our creatures. For ramp we have Birds of Paradise for a turn 2 Marath. Secure Tribe Elder, Bloom Tinder, Wood Elves, Reclamation Sage for removal, Eternal Witness to get back combo pieces or just anything useful in general, Oracle Moldiah for more ramp, Solemn Simulacrum for more ramp and a little bit of draw, Hero Bladehold because she pumps out all my tokens and puts tokens out, so she helps out. Anger. I do a lot of stuff in the deck that requires haste, especially when you're pumping out tokens. You kind of want to just end the game right then and there. You don't want to give your opponent a chance to respond after you just poop out a bunch of tokens, and having haste really helps out. So we have Anger and Ogre Battle Driver to help out to give our creatures haste. Next up we have Academy Rector. She's really good. I know I say that a lot, but when she dies, there's a trigger when she enters the bin or the graveyard that she can exile herself if you choose to, and search your library for a enchantment card and put it directly in play. So usually when I get her, it's going straight for Cathars Crusade, without a doubt. Or if that one's already out or somebody blew it up already, probably Doubling Season, or even Earthcraft and Squirrel's Nest if I have the combo out. Now this card's pretty questionable. I get asked about it a lot, but I'm never upset when Ivyline Denizen is in play. It's whenever another green creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Now, to the similar effect of Cathars Crusade, this one allows me to put +1/+1 counters back on Marath after I just make a token, because Marath makes green elemental tokens. So people don't really see a common as a threat when it's out, and then all of a sudden I poop out a bunch of tokens, and then they're like, oh, okay, and then you're like, yeah, Ivyline Denizen. So I've had nothing but success with it every time I play it and every time it's out, but a lot of people question it and could be a better card, and there could be a better card in the deck for it, but I like them a lot. Karmic Guide, to get back my creatures. Enough said. Sun Titan, get back Skull Clamp, Aura Shards, Earthcraft, Squirrel's Nest, fetch lands. Just a really good utility creature. Elish Norn, one of my favorite white cards of all time. Pumps up my tokens and makes your creatures really weak. Regal Force. When Regal Force comes into play, draw a card for each green creature you control, and he draws me a ton of cards. I never see this guy get played enough in EDH, and he's an all-star. Woodfall Primus can combo out with Cathars Crusade out and a sack outlet, but that rarely ever happens. And Marath can negate his -1/-1 counters as well by putting on a +1/+1 counter on Woodfall Primus, so he's pretty useful in the deck. Next is my combos. We have Kiki Jiki, Zealous Conscripts, and then we also have Restoration Angel. And these are my Kiki Jiki combos that I can run in the deck that just almost are an instant win if nobody has a fog effect or anything like that. Next up we have Perforos, and he goes right along with Avenger Zendikar. This is what I usually tooth and nail for, because I just get to wipe everybody out on an ETB and they can't really respond to it after the tooth and nail resolves. So people can respond to the Kiki Jiki like tap ability, but they can't really respond to this because they both enter at the same time. So it can do a large amount of damage, especially if you have Parallel Lives or Doubling Season out. Gets pretty hairy and people usually die real quick. along with that, Vendor Zingar and Craterhoof Behemoth obviously are really good to go, really good together, because, yeah. Next we have our Planeswalker package, and Elspeth Sun's Champion. She poops 3 tokens out, and she also destroys all creatures with power of 4 or greater, so that's really useful. And it is kind of my second board wipe in the deck, because usually my tokens are going to be like 1/1. So she helps out. Garruk Wildspeaker. He's one of my favorite planeswalkers, just because people don't see him as that big of a threat, and he allows you to ramp out by untapping 2 lands, and he also puts a token out, so he's pretty much an auto-collude in this deck for me. Next we have Garruk Primal Hunter. Questionable, but he lets me draw cards, and I love drawing cards in this deck because it's my favorite thing to do. So he's in here too, and I usually always -3 him and just get him out of the way right away and draw some cards. Next is an all-star as well, is Xanagos the Reveler, and he also puts out tokens, which is good in this deck, and then he also adds X mana in any combination of red and green to your mana pool, where X is the number of creatures you control. Obviously it's a token deck, and you're going to be having a lot of creatures out there. Alright, and that was my Marath Will of the Wild EDH deck. I hope that it helps you out with your build. Doesn't necessarily have to be the same, but yeah. Thank you very much.
Thanks for watching CMDR Decks. Please subscribe and favorite.